It's Thursday of the last week of Jesus' earthly life before his death and resurrection. Day 5 of Holy Week. It's the year AD 33. It's the Passover week, and Jesus sends his disciples ahead to prepare for the feast. The feast is what brought everyone to Jerusalem, that brought all these crowds to Jerusalem. And there's a significance that this feast of Passover is happening the very last week of Jesus' earthly life, the week that Jesus is going to signify a true deliverance. Now, he sends them ahead to prepare for the Passover feast. And when they get to the Passover, in Matthew 26:20, when they celebrate, it says, when it was evening, he reclined at table with his disciples. Now, I always thought this was kind of funny. Did they not have enough chairs in Jerusalem because there were so many people celebrating? Why aren't they sitting in chairs and eating? Why are they laying down, reclining at the table? Well, the answer is they didn't have chairs. They did not. But maybe not in Jerusalem at this time. Maybe they had them, but they didn't have them in the wilderness after they were delivered from Egypt. The fact that they didn't have chairs in the wilderness was a symbol that they have left their bondage and slavery, that something took them from their bondage and slavery and brought them to freedom. So whenever they reclined at table, it was a symbol. It was a reminder. We are free. We have been freed. We are no longer slaves. We are no longer in bondage. We have been delivered. What a gift. So reclining at table, though might be comfortable or awkward, was a great symbol of deliverance. And this is what Jesus was doing with his disciples. And this is what he was going to do for them on Friday. What a symbol. All are celebrating this Passover, and Jesus is about to deliver them from their spiritual bondage, to give them true freedom. And they're all reclining at all these different tables throughout Jerusalem. At the meal then, Jesus does a couple things. He takes the cup and he talks about how it's his blood and his body that he's giving up. He talks about Judas, who's going to betray him. He talks about someone who's going to deny him. And then he talks at the end of the meal of a final cup that he says, we will not partake in this together until we are together again at the wedding feast, kind of the paradise feast. That's heaven together. We won't partake of that until we're back together. That is so powerful that Jesus is saying there will be freedom for those who trust in God. There will be freedom. There will be a day of reuniting together in paradise. And that's what that cup was reserved for. Well, after the meal, Jesus went to the garden to pray. And oh, he prayed. He prayed, Father, if you would just take this cup from me, meaning the thing that he has to do next, the thing tomorrow, right, that's going to lead to the deliverance, the thing of suffering. If you would take this, Father, from me, but your will be done, he says to his Father. Submits himself to his good Father because he knows his Father has good plans. He knows his Father is trustworthy, that his Father has freedom in mind. So he trusts himself to that. And just as Jesus predicted, Jesus is always right, by the way, he's betrayed and arrested, put on trial, accused, mocked, and yet he remains silent. And then he's denied by Jesus, or by Peter. He's denied just like he promised. And then we think of the significance of all this on this Thursday as he's preparing his heart and himself for what's going to happen on Friday. So as you think about that this Thursday, would you reflect? Would you take a moment? Maybe it's next time you hold a cup. Think of the cups that Jesus talked through on this Thursday. The cup of his sacrifice. The cup that he longs to have with us again someday. Or maybe the cup of trial that he asked the Father to take away, but he was willing to bear to bring us freedom. If we trust in what Christ has done, we have that freedom. We have that new life, the freedom from sin, the freedom from bondage, to live the life he has called us to one day having the paradise open to us where we can be united with him forever in the wedding feast of the Lamb. Freedom is ours. Let's reflect on that this Thursday.